Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1745. Hello, I'm Mike Matthews. What a day yesterday. I basically am glad I have a podcast because I have so much to rant about, but yesterday did not work well for me. Did not go well at all for a myriad of reasons. Let's begin with the Costco in Hayward.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Not the business Costco, the one that I hate that Costco is. Hayward's got two Costcos now.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
That's not fair because all the other places that I want to be have no Costcos, and I get so full of sadgery, and I am so very upset with that. I'm blue, da-da-dee, da-da, fat. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. I love the
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Cheap hot dogs at Costco, and I pick up a rotisserie chicken. However, I must say,
Mike's
when a Costco
Daily
lags with
Podcast,
its rotisserie chickens.
Yeah!
Yes, this is first world problems. Get over it. There is this thing, you know, that little heating. There's a rack that they put they always have the rotisserie chickens that are always $5. They've been $5 forever. They sell them at a loss. They put them at the back of the store so that you walk all the way to the back to check it out. And these chickens, and by the way, I hate it when people, instead of saying chicken, they go chicken. Ugh! Stop that. Don't ever do that. Please. It's chicken. And, we got this guy who walked in, that does these commercials for us, who's obviously not in the area. He's somewhere in the Midwest somewhere. And we had him do this commercial, and he said, look who else walked in. He said, instead of seminar, he says seminar. Oh, I hate that Midwest seminar. I got in the car. The R. Why are you a pirate? Are you, unless you're Captain Jack Sparrow, I don't give a. You can't talk like that to me in that way. Don't say your R's like that. Stop it. So the chickens at Costco, I wait, and this one I never used to wait, but now apparently it's gone into the toilet. This Costco in Hayward, not the business one.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Hayward's got two Costcos. It makes no sense. They got a business one where you can't get rotisserie chickens or hot dogs that are super cheap with the drink. Which, by the way, they don't sell the Polish ones anymore because they were unhealthy. Basil. Okay, so after this whole Costco ordeal, which I haven't even gotten into, I get home and my lovely lady friend is there, and apparently Basil is sick. And I am just crushed after dealing with the crap at Costco, which I will get into momentarily. Dealing with the crazy Hayward traffic. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Hayward just shuts down. The traffic is awful. You get the myriad of morons that do not know how to drive show up and basically take over the frickin' roads and suck. Makes driving in Hayward absolutely ridiculous. So Hayward's got a bunch of strikes on it. First off, that the frickin' they went along and they put a fine on my house because I had a tree or something. I had some extra brush on my front lawn. Oh, by the way, there was this one guy who has been, I guess he just started listening to the show, and he goes, I want to hear the podcast where you ranted about the Hayward people that came by and gave you a thing in the mail that said, if you don't clean this up by this date, and they only gave me like 3 days, if you don't clean it up by this date, we will fine you $500. I want to hear you talk about that. So I gave him the podcast name, and he goes, I can't find it. I'm like, it's right there. But this guy's a little older, and he can't figure out stuff with having to do with the internet or technology. And I can't figure out stuff going on with Costco. So I'm in Costco, and I'm trying to... Oh, by the way, Basil is doing a little bit better. I get home. My lovely lady friend is like, Basil is not moving. He's just laying there. I offered him a treat, and he didn't eat it. And I start to panic because I'm like, oh no, I've been through this. This happened in 2016. It was a terrible, terrible week. I thought it was the end for him. But then I figured out all of a sudden his appetite came back. We just let him rest. And she said he was shaking. And I noticed, well, it basically, the culprit could have been my lovely lady friend got Basil these cool they're like these cod treats with this crunchy skin. And they're made in Canada, caught in America, the fish, okay? And I read that, I'm like, all right, that kind of sounds legit. And it was at Pet Food Express, which, by the way, don't ever go to the one in Castro Valley. I'm just saying. I know there's 5 people that listen to the show. To the 5 people, don't go to the the Pet Food Express in Castro Valley. Petco, I'm not going to make... I just heard yesterday they said they're going to... Nationally, Petco is going to no longer sell anything non-organic. It's got to be organic, and it's like no chemicals whatsoever in any of their foods. They're discontinuing all the lines that they carry that have any kind of chemicals, which I thought, what? You still sold food that has chemicals in it? Good thing I haven't bought food from you guys for my dog in over 8 years. But back to the Pet Food Express in Castro Valley, run by... Some of these kids are sweet, but some of them are just the most stuck on themselves millennials, Gen Zers, that would be rather out smoking jewels, vaping with the jewels. How do you even say, you're jeweling. Oh, by the way, jewel, you were meant for me, and I was meant for you. I preferred the one, are you standing still? Or am I? That was okay. Like the standing passing by. Am I standing still? And then there was that actress that looked just like Jewel, who was in Firefly. That's the only thing I've seen her in, but she's been in some like Hallmark Channel stuff. And her name's Jewel. But it's not the same Jewel as Jewel Kasiznik or whatever with the crazy snaggletooth, who's pretty, but she, took over the 90s. She was on the radio all the time in the 90s, the mid-90s. She had that, who will say it? She did that whole Kermit thing in the song. Good God. Everybody, if you were a female... in the 90s, and you were, let's say, in your 20s, you had a Jewel album. But back to Jeweling, it's that vaping stuff with the different flavors, and they've been caught. They've been making a ton of money lately, and it's because they've got all these teenagers, all these high school kids. We're talking young children smoking away on the flavored vaping. And that's a tobacco product. And they are hurting their lungs. Not only that, they look pretentious with that pen in their mouth. And then they blow out that steam. I mean, I'd rather have them doing that than smoking a cigarette. But, so, I think, is it the Trump administration? Somebody in the Trump administration, whoever's in charge of health. I guess he's part of the Trump administration, or he or she. Said, no more. No, we're watching you, Jewel. And Jewel said, don't do anything. We'll pull all our stuff. We'll pull it all off the shelves, they just announced. So that's, Jewel e-cigarettes. Yes, and so there's a singer named Jewel and then that actress named Jewel that looks like Jewel. It's very confusing, and that's all I had to say about that. So, back to Castro Valley and the kids that smoke, Jewel or whatever. And the Pet Food Express there, those kids, I don't like that. So I go into the Pet Food Express in San Leandro, however. Oh my God, it was like a whole other experience because Basil's back legs are slipping. The pads don't grab onto if it's a smooth surface, he can't steady himself the way he used to. So for older dogs, they make these little shoes. So this nice lady, older lady helped me through all the different shoes, gave me all this advice, told me all about the different treats they have. I mean, it was just so not. And the kids there, like at the Pet Food Express in Castro Valley, could care less. They're, there's something over there. I don't know. Just unhealthful as hell. Anyway, Café Anyway, that Castro Valley Pet Food Express
Anyway
is where we got that treat that may have made Basil sick yesterday. So he's a little bit better today. His appetite is there. So we went to feed him, and that was the big litmus test, because if he doesn't eat his food, that's when I get scared. That's when I get because then he's not getting the nutrients he needs. And I've been getting the same Costco brand food for over 8 years, and their stuff is made in America, and they're heavily regulated. Okay, back to Costco. So Basil's doing better, thankfully. But back to Costco. Yesterday, I go in there, and so far so good. Everything's fine. But the chickens, they don't have any chickens in the room. They're like way behind. And then there's a line waiting for the chickens, so I know it's going to take forever to get the chicken. And you have to pronounce the chicken, not chicken. Anyway, Café Anyway, I go check out.
Anyway,
I think I told you a couple weeks ago that there's this Chase Visa card that has these weird rewards where they give you 5% back in rewards when you buy something, which is pretty good, 5%. But you have to follow their calendar, and they divide it into the quarters of the year. And in the last quarter of 2018, they are giving you 5% back if you shop at a wholesale market store, box store, Costco, Sam's Club. I almost said Sam Goody. Oh, record stores. Back when I bought a ton of CDs and Jewel CDs. Did I ever buy any Jewel CDs? No. I was given for free Jewel CDs. People were like, hey, you want it? I'm like, oh, I'll check it out. She looks pretty. Whatever. Let's try it out. And, back to the Sam's Club and all those get 5% back. 5%. And I have a thing for snaggle teeth. And 5% back is what they do now, and department stores. And if you use Chase Visa Pay. Okay? So I tried to, when I last shopped at Costco, when this all began back in October, I had completely forgotten about that. And I used my Costco credit card instead and only got 2% back. So I did the math, and you always buy a ton of stuff at Costco, and so I had somehow missed out on like $11. So yesterday, I'm like, I need to buy more stuff at Costco, and I go in there, and I have my Chase Visa card ready to go, and I go through the line, and they go, we can't take this. And I said, what? Why? And they said, well, your name is Michael Matthews, and the card here says, well, it said my ex-wife's name on it. And I had forgotten that they still send me, because I got the card back when I was married years ago. And so they are still sending me 2 cards when they send me a new card. And one of them was my ex-wife's, and I accidentally took that one instead of mine, the one in my name. So this lady named Anna May would not Anna May. Anna May. I just realized that. Her name is Anna May, and if you like anime, the cartoon crap, then you would have liked her, probably. But she turned me down. Even though in the pharmacy where I bought Band-Aids, something like 100 Band-Aids, because that's what you do at Costco. You buy like 100 of something. I don't know. I might need 100 Band-Aids. I'm clumsy at times. Like here at Café Anyway. Oops. I'm better now. As we go outside of Café Anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. So, even though in the pharmacy where I just bought Band-Aids, they did allow that Chase Visa card. So, I don't know. Anime was some kind of Gestapo I think is the only word that fits. Because she was just too strict. She should have just let me have it. But no, she had to So I had to use my Costco card and only got 2% and probably lost another $11. And then I leave, I go home, find out the horrible thing about my dog. And then I'm like sitting there amongst all that crap happening. Oh, and fighting the traffic and everything else. And I realize that I have left my Band-Aids at Costco. So now I attempt to call Costco back up and say, hey, I left my Band-Aids there. Can you... And it rings and rings and rings to the point that you get this woman's voice that suddenly goes, goodbye, and it hangs up on you. This goodbye voice. Oh, she's evil. She's more evil than anime. So I finally got a hold of someone who goes, oh, okay, I'll transpond you to the front area where they handle that. And it rings and rings, and the voice comes up, goodbye, and hangs up again. Thank you, Costco. I hate this Costco in Hayward. Where, Castro Valley doesn't even have a Costco. There are other towns in the Bay Area that do not have a Costco. I understand you need to have enough room to, I guess, enough room for all the parking, for all the people in the huge warehouse and everything else. And there is no room like that in Castro Valley anymore, unless you want to destroy some of the wonderful hillside. But you can't do that, because that's where I walk Basil the Boxer, hopefully when he gets better. So, they are like saying... Finally, I had to call back like 3 times and finally got a hold of this lovely lady named Rosa who said she found my Band-Aids and she'll put them in the office, and there we go. So, here's what I've learned from all of this. That you have to avoid Costco with all of your might because it's a crazy, messed up cacophony of people. And you knew that already, and why did I even bring it up? I don't know. But it is this thing. In the Bay Area, we've got so many grocery stores. You've got the regular Safeway, you've got your Lucky's, but then there's all these other ones like Grocery Outlet and Smart and Final. These little ones that are all over the place. There just seems like there should be a better way than Costco. There's like Food Co., Food Max. I didn't have that much choice when I lived in Southern California or Alabama, or in, Ventura County anyway. The point is, and I told myself I'd never say that, so because I said the point is, I have to play this. I'm sailing away. I feel better. It is the wrong tact, Mr. President, to I know you want to say this all the time.
I won.
But there is a little thing called law, and in the state of Florida, it is law that if after an election, the difference, the margin of victory is that within a certain percentage, you have to have a recount. It is the law, and you, who is all about keeping the federal government out of state government's hair, states' rights and all that, you should be the last person to be tweeting, Florida has to stop their vote tallying now. Just, God, the hypocrisy. All the conservative talk show hosts, and I was going to play you this one guy I heard yesterday go, why is it, he's the guy who swallows his lip, why is it that whenever there's an electoral recount, it always helps the Democrats? Why is that? Just a jerk. Yeah, the election counting of the ballots, counting of the votes in Florida in 2000 only helped George Bush. In the end, when they kept counting, and he won in Florida, fair and square. So it only helped. It's called verification. What are you afraid of is the question. I think that's the problem, is Republicans are so full of fear. At any rate, that's the end of the show. I didn't get to the podcast picture. Well, I know it's going to be a good one because I have faith in myself, that it's going to be a better day. And that we all learn from our mistakes, right? Am I right? Oh, there's a guy I produce a show for who says, right? Like every 5 seconds on his show. Right? Oof. Here's a little thing. I'm okay with this kind of a right.
Right.
Oh, did you hear the funny thing that guy did when he was talking about what he wants to do for America?
The new national anthem will be Baby Shark do 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 do, Grandma Shark do 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 do, Evil Shark do 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 do.
No! Make it stop!
Baby Shark do 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 do, Baby Shark do 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 do.
Please stop!
Baby Shark do 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 do.
And he kept going. That's a bad song, yes, it's true. But Dr. Evil, we love him so. So I mentioned 2016, didn't I? At some point during the show. Let's go back to 2016. This is probably... Oh, we'll go to November of 2016. A much different time. And the podcast picture today will be... I know I take a lot of pictures of my dog. And someday he'll be gone. And for all you dog owners, just realize... There is this little thing called aging, and they get old, and you just have to be there for them. That's all that he wanted yesterday, was for me to be there for him, and I was. And then he got better. I'm feeling like he will live to see another day. So, at any rate, this is a nice picture. Basil and I, he won't be in this picture today, but it is of this amazing sunset I saw in Half Moon Bay. 2 years ago, yes. We took a little day trip out there. And I will be out there for my birthday. Woohoo! And sorry, Sylvia, I won't get to go to your thing on Wednesday night because we'll be down in Half Moon Bay already by then. But, hey, I hope it's a fun little pre-Thanksgiving thing. And you have a good Thanksgiving thing, but hopefully I'll talk to you before then, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show. Next show, it'll be... Oh, I didn't even say hi to the characters. Here they are real quick. Hi, Mark! It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing?
It's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you what.
What?
Put down the mic.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
What?
That's enough. Put down the mic.
And it's me, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Oh boy, I'm just kidding. It's the Brewmaster. Has the root beer on it right now. Oh boy.
Thank you. One for the road.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.